Hi, I'm Christian Mendoza, and this is my sprint review presentation for healthcare application. The health and wellness application, our team design and prototype this term. And I walk through what went well, a recommendation for improvement, and an agile principle I've learned. Using our Google Slides and the app prototype to show you what we built. So quick context, the healthcare covers account creation, secure login, a personal health profile, nutrition, fitness, health monitoring, and medication tracking. Our Sprint 4 goal was to take every screen from a mid-fidelity wireframe to a high-fidelity presentation-ready mockup, and that's what I'll focus on first. So what really went well was the Sprint 4 itself. We took every module, the full authentication flow, the health profile, nutrition, fitness health monitoring, and medication, and rebuild it in a high fidelity with one consistent color palette, typography, and component style across the entire application. So why did this work? Because we didn't jump straight to a high fidelity. We built mid-fidelity wireframes first in an earlier sprint, tested the layout and flow with those, and only moved to full visual design once the structure was already validated. That sequencing meant we weren't redesigning layout and color at the same time, which kept the work focused and let us move through a large number of screens without things breaking or looking inconsistent. How does this generalize? This is really a reusable pattern for any UI heavy project. Separate structural decisions from visual polish and do them in that order on a future project, even outside this application. I would apply the same sequencing, wireframe and validate first, then invest in high fidelity design once you're confident the structures won't change. For the recommendation for improvement, broken into issue, impact, and solution. So the issue is because this class is asynchronous and global, our team couldn't hold a live sprint review with real stakeholders in the room. And our team is also lack of numbers as well because some of my classmates are not available. Two of them mostly are not available every week. That is why it's very hard for us. Uh, the impact is really huge if that happened. So the impact that meant our Sprint 5 backlog, the 9 items you can see listed in our slides, was built from our own best guesses about what the stakeholders would say, not from real user feedback. So that's kind of risky because we couldn't easily be prioritizing the wrong fixes. So the solution, I think, is for future sprints or for any team working synchronously, I set up a standing async feedback channel from day one, something like a shared penpot comment thread or a short recorded walkthrough with a specific feedback deadline each sprint. That way, even without a live meeting, the backlog is still shaped by real input instead of simulated feedback. The Agile principle I want to highlight in this one from the Agile Manifesto. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. This is essentially the whole point of a sprint review. It's not just a status update. It's a built-in checkpoint for improving how the team works, not just what it builds. Here's a concrete example from our actual project. After finishing Sprint 4 high-fidelity mockups, we didn't just move on to a new features. We deliberately paused and reviewed the prototype, walking through screens like OTP verification, biometric login, and the profile screen, and asked what a real user would push back on. That review directly produced 9 specific backlog items for Sprint 5, things like adding a fallback options on the OTP screen, adding a confirmation step before logout of all devices, and designing an empty state for the for the progress screen. That's the principle in action. We didn't just ship the high fidelity screens and call sprint for done. We used the review to adapt our plan based on what we found, which is exactly what the principle is describing. So that's my sprint review. To summarize, the sprint 4 succeeded because we sequence structures before visual polish. Our main recommendation is build real async feedback into every sprint, and the biggest agile lesson for me was seeing inspect and adapt work firsthand, turning a design review directly into a concrete prioritized backlog. Thank you for watching.